Hey, Synchronice here. Today's tutorial is going to be talking about the distortion plugin Ohmicide. Ohmicide is a really cool plugin because it's multi-band distortion, so you can affect different frequency bands in different ways. And I'm just going to be talking about the basics of how to use it and just introducing people to the layout and interface. So to start, going to bypass it, and we're just going to take a listen to this little bass line here. And it's pretty much just a saw wave made a massive. It's pretty boring. Nothing really interesting going on there. So, gonna turn on Ohmicide. And first we're gonna take a look at just like the basics of how it works. You have 4 bands, and you have different amounts of gain for each one. A little mixer here so you can mute and solo them, change the mix of all the effects for that individual band, and of course there's volume for it. And you have you have so many choices of distortion here. You have all different varieties for each individual band, and the best way to choose them and find out which ones you like is to basically just experiment, try all the different ones and see which one appeals to your ear the most. And you can also affect these the different frequencies of each band, so you have a lot of freedom. And you can also help shape each sound. You can make it sharper or fatter, and that's more of a subtle difference, but it definitely is very useful because you have a lot of room for changing things and kind of experimenting and coming up with your own sounds. So we're going to put distortion on this top band here and solo it. So that doesn't sound very good. Gonna bring the gain up a little bit, bring the frequency down a little bit, and then bring in the rest of the mix. So you can hear, just by changing this parameter a little bit, the difference is very noticeable. So we're gonna try adding distortion to these bands as well. All right. And a good way to make sure that you get a good sound out of Ohmicide is to solo each band when you're working on it. And that way, you'll be able to perfect the sound a lot. So let's hear what this sounds like. And that's just from a simple saw wave. So that shows how much you can really shape and bend the sounds to your will using Ohmicide. Now we're going to take a look at the lower frequency here, this lowest band. And typically, I don't really like to distort it a lot since it has a tendency to actually remove the low end from it. So I usually either just keep the distortion off, or if I do have it on, keep the gain real low. So solo that. So it really starts to muddy it up when you put more gain on it. But that's the really nice thing about Ohmicide. Because it's multi-band distortion, unlike Logic's distortion, wrong channel. You really don't have a lot of options. So when you put the gain up all the way, it's going to sound really muddy on the low end, even if it would sound good on the high end. So what's nice about Ohmicide, you can have really super distorted mid-range, but clean low end, which is a really cool feature. Now we're going to check out some of the other features that you can do for the bands. There's this thing called feedback, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It literally sounds like feedback on a guitar amp, and it's not really useful for a bass patch, but you can get some crazy sound effects out of it. So let's listen. So that's pretty cool. And there's also pre-distortion, which is good if you just want to add some extra crunch to the sound. So let's listen to what that sounds like. So that helps you change it up more. It definitely makes it grittier, and it allows you to have more variety. And you can also shape the whole sound using these two parameters here. So that's just like a basic introduction to how to use this plugin. The best way to get comfortable with using it is to experiment, have an open mind, try as many different things as possible, spend hours of tinkering around with it. You have so many presets also you can mess around with and get a good idea of how to use it. And this is just the first of a few tutorials. Probably going to make a few more going over how you can use it for dubstep synths and drum and bass synths and all sorts of different applications that you can use it for, because it's a really, really neat plugin, so check it out.